My name is Mark Youmans. I started out in Southern California, got out of the service and came out from New York where I grew up. And really, I didn't know what I was going to do. There was a couple of us that were overseas together at a house and in the Santa Barbara district, and one of the guys had a job at a diesel place, and it happened to be right around the corner from the Forest Service station, the district office, and we didn't know what to do, so we said, hey, that looks like a pretty good job. We could go in there, and it was a little later in the season, so we got on a crew that did a lot of project work, went on some fires, but it was really like a pickup crew. It was a Forest Service crew, but no particular name or anything. I guess they call it like a BD crew, brush disposal crew. And then the next year, I went to an engine crew at Pine Canyon down on the LP. And I happened to see a flyer in the district office about smoke jumping, recruiting for smoke jumpers. And I had seen that movie, Red Skies Over Montana, as a kid, but I didn't know if it was real, for one thing, because I grew up in New York, or if it was real at one point, but it wasn't still going on. It was something that was old. And then there I saw it. I saw that recruitment poster, so I put in for it, and I got selected the next year, in 1981. And then I came up here. I jumped 81 through 86 here in Reading, and then I transferred over to Bureau of Land Management out of Boise in 87 and 88. And then I had gotten a couple of little minor injuries, but what happened is my anterior cruciate ligament eventually just sort of kind of withered away, and I didn't have really a blood supply, so I had to have a new one put in there. And the surgery, they tightened it down a little too much, and so it kept scarring over and over again. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to come back pretty quickly after that. I spent about 2.5 years really in getting 10 operations on my knee. So I knew my career jumping was certainly going to be over with. And then I just went back to school. During that time I was rehabbing, and got a couple degrees, and then I got a teaching credential and started teaching. So that's kind of my story as far as firefighting. But I had never experienced anything, growing up on the East Coast, that would have prepared me, for working outside. And it was, but I liked it immediately. It's just beautiful. Nature is beautiful, and to be out there and doing things was a lot of fun for me. And if I hadn't had the surgery gone bad, and having all those problems, I don't know what I would have done. Honestly, I mean, I probably would have just kept jumping. Even though I never thought when I first started that this is the career I wanted, I never really said, okay, I'm here and I plan on having a career fighting fire or being a smoke jumper. It never really occurred to me. I was almost sort of doing things just year by year. I wasn't really playing them out. And it was so much fun that I liked it, I just kept doing it. So maybe I would have, or maybe I would have gotten hurt, years later, or, well, you never know how your life's going to turn out, the alternatives to what your life did turn out to be. But I wouldn't have stopped then. I know that. It might have been a few years down the road where I diverged, but not at the time. I would have stayed with it. It just seemed like a cool job, really. And it was a small group of people, and I think I've probably been drawn to that sort of a thing, maybe not counterculture, but away from maybe mainstream things. I'd usually been involved in stuff like that. And I loved the outdoors, and I thought that would be cool to see, and plus to see if you could do it, to see if it was something that you could actually do. And then once I did it, the job itself and the people that I worked with made you want to come back. I worked a lot with the Helitack crew that was down there, but I wasn't on the crew. I worked a little bit with the Los Prados shots. I wasn't on the crew then either. Because I immediately, almost after 2 seasons, I basically started jumping. And then when I was on the crew here, the jumper crew, oftentimes the Reading Hotshots were short people. And some jumpers didn't want to really work on the crew, but I always liked it. They traveled all over the place, they met new people, they made good money, obviously. And it was pretty easy to do. Charlie Caldwell just said, wear a shirt and walk in line. It was only 2 requirements. And Charlie had been a jumper, so he knew kind of proclivities of jumpers to not like follow instructions. And so I worked with them almost every year that I was here. I was on at least at one instance on a fire or two with them. So that was good. And then when I went to BLM, of course, I didn't have that opportunity.